Pardon, ma'am. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Hello.
Namaste. How are you?
Namaste. I'm good. And you?
I am also good. But you are not present there yesterday. Yesterday,
Yeah.
not yesterday, Saturday.
Yes, on Saturday. I'm so sorry. I had very strong headache and also internet was very weak. So I couldn't join classes after philosophy.
Okay. So sit in any comfortable position for starting the session. Sit comfortably. Adopt chin mudra. Eyes closed. Inhale deeply. Exhale slowly. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale for one time, Om, followed by opening mantra. Om. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचा मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि Om. Join your both palm together in front of heart center. Bow down your head towards God, towards Mother Nature. Rub your both palms. Apply an eyes. Slowly and gently while blinking, open your eyes. Om Shanti. What was our last day topic?
The last thing I written down it was asanas for treatment.
Yes, treatment for ankylosing spondylitis. Yes.
Yes.
We learned last day about Lyme disease and ankylosing spondylitis.
Yes.
Ankylosis happens in lower back and kyphosis takes place at upper back. Correct?
Yes.
And Lyme disease is a bacterial disease transfers to human by deer ticks. Now our today's topic is fractures. Fracture, Fracture.
Mhm.
Fracture. Write down. Fracture. What is fracture?
When the bone is broken.
Yeah. A fracture is a break in a bone. A fracture is any break in a bone. A fracture is any break in a bone. Fractures are named according to severity. According to severity. SAVERITY. According to severity. Or position of the fracture line. Or position or position of the fracture line. Fracture are named according to severity or position of fracture line. There is 7 types of fractures. There is 7 types of fractures. The first one is green stick fracture. GREENSTICK. Green stick fracture. GREENSTICK. Green stick fracture. Second is impacted fracture. IMPACTED. Impacted fracture. IMPACTED. Impacted fracture. The third one is open or compound fracture. OPEN. Open or compound. COMPOUND. Compound fracture. The fourth one is comminuted fracture. COMMINUTED. Comminuted fracture. COMMINUTED. Comminuted fracture. Fifth is Port's fracture. POTT apostrophe S. POTT apostrophe S. Port's fracture. Sixth is College fracture. COLLES. COLLES. College fracture. And seventh is stress fracture. STRESS, stress fracture. Clear till here?
Yes.
So write down first one, grain stick fracture. GRENSTICK, grain stick fracture. FRACTURE. Write down. This is a partial fracture. This is a partial fracture, PARTIAL. This is a partial fracture in which one side of the bone is broken. One side of the bone is broken, and the other side bends. One side of the bone is broken and other side bends. BENDS. It is a partial fracture where one side of the bone is broken and other side bends. It occurs only in children. It occurs only in children. It occurs only in children whose bones are not yet fully ossified. Whose bones are not yet fully ossified. OSSIFIED. It occurs only in children. Clear?
Yes. And what means ossified?
Ossified means hardened, because children's bone are softer than adult.
Okay.
Okay. Clear? You
Yes.
can draw this diagram. This is the diagram of grain stick fracture.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Completed?
Yes.
So second fracture is impacted fracture. impacted fracture. In this type of fracture, one end of fractured bone is forcefully driven into the interior of the other. One end of fracture bone is forcefully driven, driven, into the interior, interior of the other. Forcefully driven into other. Clear?
Yes.
This is the diagram of impacted fracture. And now third is open or compound fracture. Open or compound fracture. Write down. The broken end of the bone protrude, protrude through the skin. This is the skin part. And this is bone. It protrude through the skin, means comes out from skin. The broken end of the bone protrude through the skin. Clear?
Yes.
In this type of fracture, the broken end of bone protrude through the skin. The fourth fracture is comminuted fracture. Comminuted fracture, COMMINUTED, comminuted fracture. comminuted fracture. In this type of fracture, the bone is splintered. In this type of fracture, the bone is splintered. splintered, splintered. Crushed, crushed, crushed. Are broken into pieces. Are broken. broken, broken into pieces. And smaller bone fragments. And smaller bone fragments lie between smaller bone fragments lie between two main fragments. Lie between two main fragments. This is the most difficult fracture to treat. This is the most difficult fracture to treat. Clear? This is comminuted fracture diagram where small pieces splintered and spread between two main fragments. Okay?
Yes.
Next fracture, Coats fracture. POTT''S. Coats fracture. It is a fracture. It is a fracture at the distal end of the fibula. It is a fracture at the distal, distal, distal end of fibula. With serious injury, of distal tibial articulation, with serious injury of distal tibial articulation. Where is our tibia bone?
In the leg.
Yes. And where is fibula?
that's above the foot, right?
Yeah, it's parallel to tibia. Tibia is the main bone, weight-bearing bone, and fibula is supporting bone that stabilize our ankle. Okay. So the post fracture happens at distal end of fibula, at distal tibiofibular joint. Okay. At lower end of leg. Clear?
Yes.
Okay. The next fracture is 𝐂𝐥𝐻 fracture. 𝐂𝐿𝐿ES, 𝐂𝐥𝐻 fracture. 𝐹𝐸, 𝐂𝐥𝐻 fracture. It is a fracture of distal end of radius. It is a fracture of distal end of radius in which the distal fragment is displaced posteriorly, in which the distal fragment is displaced posteriorly. Means this fracture happens at the distal end of radius posteriorly. Where is distal end of radius?
Closer to the wrist?
Yeah, near wrist. This here is our radius bone at thumb side, and distal end of radius. This fracture happens, 𝐂𝐥𝐻 fracture. Okay.
Okay.
Posterior side. This is posterior side. This is anterior side. Okay.
Yes.
The last fracture is stress fracture. Stress fracture. STRESS. Stress fracture. In some cases, write down. In some cases, bone may fracture. In some cases, bone may fracture without visibly breaking. In some cases, bone may fracture without visibly breaking. In healthy adults, in healthy adults, stress fracture results, stress fracture, STRESS, stress fracture results from repeated strenuous activities, from repeated REPEATED, repeated strenuous activities, STRENUOUS, strenuous activities, such as running, jumping, such as running, jumping, and aerobic dancing. Aerobic dancing, AEROBIC, aerobic dancing. It happens in adults due to repeated strenuous activities like running, jumping, dancing, sprint run, like this. Understood?
Yes.
So we completed our fracture topic. Any question? Any question from fracture?
No, I think no, not yet.
Okay. So sit in any comfortable position for closing the session. Spine straight. Inhale deeply for one time, followed by closing mantra. Om. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। Om. Santi, Santi, Santi. Join your both palms together in front of heart center. Bow down your head towards God, towards Mother Nature. Rub your both palms. Apply an eyes. Slowly and gently by blinking, open your eyes. Om Shanti. Thank you for joining the class.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Okay, we will meet